Greetings and welcome to our daily Devo on this Tuesday, the 6th of August today. Our devotion today is entitled About Perspective, and it comes from a Charles Dickens work, one with which most people might be familiar, A Christmas Carol, one of our favorite movies to watch, family tradition. "A Merry Christmas, Bob," said Scrooge, with an earnestness that could not be mistaken. "A merrier Christmas, Bob, my good fellow, than I have given you for many a year. I'll raise your salary and endeavor to assist your struggling family." Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. And so Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh and little heeded them, for he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happened on his globe for good at which some people did not have their fill of laughter in the outset. And knowing that such as these would be blind anyway, he thought it quite as well that they would wrinkle up their eyes in grins as have the malady in less attractive forms. His own heart laughed, and that was quite enough for him. He had no further intercourse with spirits, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well. If any man alive possess the knowledge, may that be truly said of us, and all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone. That pretty much are the last lines of the movie as is presented. At least in the version we watch. There are numerous versions these days. But we watched the old 1950-something one and never get tired of it. Love to see the transformation that happens in Ebenezer Scrooge. Some thoughts from Gene Fisher. Three spirits visited Scrooge and accompanied him on a journey through the past and the present and into the future. After seeing how dismal the end would be for him, Scrooge changed his ways and vowed to always, quote unquote, keep Christmas well. Dickens assures us that the old gentleman kept his promise. You might say that Scrooge had a change of perspective. Jesus taught about perspective in the Beatitudes. He said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." The Beatitudes from Matthew chapter 5, verses 3 through 10. We have a choice about the way we view the events of our lives. Our goal as Christians should be the view that God is in all circumstances. The Apostle Paul had that kind of heavenly perspective, even during his trials, a shipwreck, persecution, imprisonment. He wrote about the joy that came from his faith. Choosing to have a heavenly perspective can make all the difference in life. And the first line of that, first word in that line was choosing. Choosing to have a heavenly perspective can make all the difference in life. Proverbs 15:13, a merry heart makes a cheerful countenance. There's nothing better. All the times I've traveled to numerous other countries, the thing I like to see the most is a smiling face. I don't care if if the people behind that smile are, I don't know anything else about their life, but I do know that a smile is one of the most attractive things we as human beings have on our faces. Don't have to have any kind of work done on your nose, your eyes, or your Botox shots or anything like that. Just a smile. I've seen people in poverty smile. I've seen people in pain smile. And it just radiates into my heart to see that. I love seeing little kids playing happy, smiling. Again, it brings a smile to my own face. And I hope when I greet people, when I just are passing them by, I went over this past Sunday to pick up donuts and cider for our fellowship time. And when I walked in, there was a dad there sitting in a little picnic table area that they have set up inside the building, having some breakfast time with his two little kids. And I looked at them and they looked at me and we smiled at each other. As I got to the counter, there was a lady who was just walking away, had picked up her order, and she had her little boy with her. And he had a little candy apple, not a caramel apple, but a candy apple. And I looked at him and he looked up at me holding that and he smiled. And I said, I guess you got what you wanted. And the mom turned around and smiled at that. I love that. I love that. Nothing worse, especially as a follower of Jesus Christ, to walk into some place all grouchy and grumpy and a frown on your face. Ebenezer Scrooge changed completely. I know it's not intended. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. But for me, that transformation that happens from that Christmas Eve night into the next day, Christmas Day, and the way he begins to treat people, the generosity that now flows from him, that's what a born-again life is supposed to look like. We're changed, we're transformed, where once we only had the world as our guide and how the world operates as our guide, now we have the Lord and his kingdom and his beatitudes and his truths about who we are and how we live. And it does bring to us a different perspective. Instead of focusing on our difficulties, we now focus on the joys we have with this new life in and through Jesus Christ. Make sure that people around you know you are truly indeed born again and that your life has been changed. As we used to sing as little kids in Sunday school and at summer camp, I have the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Let's live like that. Let's project that to others. Let them share the joy. Blessings to you today.